Nope.
It's almost strange how driving at night gets less magical every time you do it. The first time, you look at the lights of the cities and other cars and gaze at the stars through the front window. After the millionth time, however, it all gets indifferent. Everything fades in the background just like it would in the daylight. The lights don't stand out anymore. They're just part of the scenery, like cities are when we see them from a distance during the day. The magic of the night seems to disappear over time. This is how I felt while driving home. My fiancé and I had just moved into our first home. It was a beautiful moment for Zoe and me to finally enter the house while it was under our ownership. However, the stress of moving soon caught up with us, as getting all of our things to the new house was a long and tedious operation. On the first night we were done with moving everything, Zoe had already found out she forgot something. Apparently, her beauty case had been left at her parents' house, which was quite the distance away. I tried to convince her that it could wait a night, but she told me it was way too important for that, and since I was the only one with a car, I should go. Not wanting an argument on our first night in the house, I agreed and hopped in my car, off to be the hero and get that beauty case. The ride to my in-laws' house went on without any issues. My trustworthy old Audi had given me no trouble, and the radio actually played some decent music, making the drive very tolerable. Although the drive started while there was still plenty of daylight, at the time I arrived at my destination, the sun had disappeared behind the horizon, and only the moonlight guided my path to the driveway of the house. Zoe's father was quite irritated with the disturbance, but her mother completely understood the predicament and quickly grabbed the case. They gave me a bottle of water for the way back, and with that, I was on the road again. That month, I had driven through the night countless times with the moving truck, so the magic of it was completely gone. I drove mindlessly, just trying to get home in a reasonable amount of time. Unfortunately, my surroundings were not the only thing I was not paying attention to, and soon, my fuel meter was getting very close to E. "Not now, not now," I yelled. But yelling doesn't add fuel, so I was frantically looking for a gas station. Finally, I saw an exit and immediately took it. This, apparently, was exit 24. Although the previous exit was 12, and that wasn't the only weird thing. It had a sign saying there was a gas station, but it seemingly went into a forest. However, I didn't have time to worry about where the road went or the numbering of exits. I just needed some gas, and fast. I looked in my mirror and saw that a big SUV had also taken the exit. This reassured me a bit, as I wasn't so alone anymore. A turn in the road eventually came. A turn I wish I had never taken. Around the corner, it seemed like I had driven into a new, hellish world. The entire forest seemed to be on fire. All the trees, except the ones near the road, were burning, coloring the sky red. How did I not see this while I was on the highway? I asked myself. Just as I said that, the screams began. Sounds of people being tortured and gruesomely murdered came from everywhere in the forest. Without seeing anyone causing the sound, I checked my mirror, and the SUV was still there, so I wasn't the only one seeing this. I checked the road and immediately slammed on the brakes, In front of me laid hundreds of corpses in the middle of the road. All of them were horribly mutilated and were laid on the road to block it perfectly. But it now seemed like the screaming had stopped. The sight of all these bodies was too much, and I grabbed my phone to call the police. Strangely enough, the call did not connect me to the state police, but instead to a local bureau. Still, police were police, right? I told the operator everything I saw, saying I needed help immediately. The operator, however, stayed calm, almost like she had experienced this situation. She asked me for my location, and I told her I was somewhere on exit 24. She told me to, no matter what, stay in my car and just drive for it. Just before I could do that, I heard a knock on my window. The guy from the SUV had gotten out and was now trying to contact me. I rolled down my window and immediately regretted it.
What are you thinking? You could have caused a crash with braking like that. What kind of moron are you?
I pointed to the bodies all over the roads. He looked shocked for a minute, but after that, it was back to insults.
"Who is that?"
the operator asked, apparently having heard his voice. "Some guy who was behind me while I braked for the bodies. He's yelling at me right now," I said.
"Wait, he is out of his vehicle?"
she asked. "Yeah, what?" I couldn't even finish my sentence. I heard her swear on the other end of the line before calling a supervisor or something. I was still wondering why it was a problem that he got out of his car when it happened. A black, void-like arm came out of the flaming forest and grabbed the guy by his stomach. He screamed loudly while being taken to the forest. Then, his gigantic truck behind me was picked up and tossed away like it was a coin. I yelled an expletive, causing the operator to talk to me again.
"Sir, what happened?"
That guy behind me, he just got dragged into the forest by some huge black arm," I yelled.
"Shit, I knew this would happen. Alright, listen to me. Drive. Drive now. The gas station you're looking for is only a mile away from your location. Just drive, please,"
she said. She didn't have to tell me twice. I stomped down on the gas pedal. With tires smoking, I screeched off. As I did, I heard the screaming start up again. This time, one voice louder than before. I arrived at the gas station, which was indeed there. The second I arrived, the fires and the screams seemed to instantly stop. It was a very modern and clean facility, in sharp contrast with the landscape that I had just driven through. Luckily, there was no one there, so I filled my car up, paid, and drove away. I almost screamed with happiness when I got back on the highway and saw other cars around me. The terror was finally over. I arrived home around 3 a.m., where Zoe was still awake. "Are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost," she said when I put down the case. There was a large car accident. Lots of blood and ambulances. Not a pretty sight," I lied. "Oh, yeah, that's not fun," she said. "Well, anyway, thank you for bringing me my beauty case," she said. "Yay! I'm a hero. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go to bed," I said tiredly. Zoe laughed, but I couldn't. Since that experience, I've tried multiple forms of therapy, but nothing seems to truly help. I can now put the event somewhat out of my mind, but every time I drive at night, I make sure my gas tank is 100% full. I've held on to the water bottle I had that night, as a reminder and a warning to myself. And every time I look at it, full of fully cooked and vaporized water, I remember that night and all of the horrible events that happened. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, you know what to do. Take that giant long demonic arm, take the like button, grab it, and then pull it into the depths of Hades. Shout out to the author of this story, Reddit user CarsPlanesTrains. CarsPlanesTrains. I will leave a link down below if you want to connect with them. Until next time, everybody, remember to stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.